Hello there. My name is Murray. I'm with my co-host Corey. This is a very special broadcast because it's the start of our spooky month.
It is Halloween, October.
Welcome to Halloween Spooky. Well, I hope you all enjoyed Black Widow last week. That was
Yeah.
a bit of a change in format, but here we are. It's spooky month. It's October. It's the month of my birthday, some of my favourite people's birthdays, and also of Halloween. So we're going to be doing a spooky themed month. That means horror films, ghosts and ghouls and goblins and all that type of stuff. But we're going to be doing it, let's say, our way.
Yeah, I mean, this episode isn't a traditionally spooky film, I don't think.
No. But it's got some spooky stuff. There's some.
It's
You
got
could say it
elements.
is spooky. I'd call it spooky.
Would you call it a terrifying tale?
I would call it a terrifying tale. We are looking
Yeah.
at the Disney Plus special Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales, which came out. I think it was not too long ago. It was
No,
on
it
October
was.
1st. October 1st.
There you go. Start of October. There we go.
Yeah, the start of October, October 1st.
Right on here.
It takes. But I'll give you a little bit of a synopsis, and we'll jump into it.
Yeah.
It's after the events of Rise of Skywalker. Obviously, the First Order is defeated. The Final Order, the Sith Order, is defeated, and Poe Dameron and BB-8 are flying around being pursued by what the remnants of the First Order when they are have to crash land on Mustafar, where they find the Castle Vader, the old castle of the Fortress Vader, being constructed and being reconstructed into a Sith-inspired luxury resort and hotel by Kripala the Hutt.
Yes.
One of the Hutts from the Freemaker Adventures, which is a Lego Star Wars series. And there they find Vinay, who is a former aide of Darth Vader, who tells them three stories about three Sith-inspired stories about how the dark side can corrupt people, bend so low, and within the Knights of Ren. Then we get a story about Darth Maul and Grievous, and we finally get a sort of alternate timeline story called The Wookiee's Paw. And then at the end, it sort of then at the end we see Vinay trying to take over the castle, and there's a great battle at the end, and that's it, and it's all resolved. So that's pretty much the story. We'll touch on those. We'll do our sort of free-form review style, shall we?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah. So first of all, what was your experience going into this? Obviously, we watched the special, the Christmas special, the holiday specials, Lego Star Wars holiday special. We watched that.
We did. We watched it together, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
We also watched the other Christmas special together at the same time. No, I thought okay. I thought it was similar to the Christmas special. Christmas special was very much Christmas Carol, that kind of style. So I thought, okay, it's going to be like kind of your other traditional Halloween-y spooky films and kind of reference all that sort of stuff and nice bit of comedy involved. And ultimately, obviously, it's aimed at a younger audience. So I thought, okay, a bit of comedy, bit of stuff for the adults, a bit of references to some stuff, and that's 40 minutes. Was it 40 minutes? 49 minutes?
Yeah, about 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah, about 45 minutes worth of fun is what I was expecting.
Yeah, it's so good. Again, it starts off with Poe Dameron and BB-8. Also, I like this is post Rise of Skywalker. I think this is the first sort of content we've got in cinematic form that is post Rise of Skywalker. Apart from maybe it's one of the episodes of Star Wars Visions, which we will get to.
Yeah.
I'd like to review Star Wars Visions if you would.
Whack it on the whack it on the list. We've got a list of.
Yeah, put it on the list. Star Wars Visions. It's like the anime series, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll watch that. This is post Rise of Skywalker, which we don't normally do.
No, it's
So we don't normally see post Rise. We haven't seen post Rise of Skywalker for at least I think till the film came out. But yeah, this is after Episode 9, so all the First Order have been destroyed, and Poe and BB-8 are being in a dogfight, in a space dogfight, a spog fight, if you will, against the First Order TIEs, and then they get hit, and then they have to crash land on Mustafar, and they hit the ground. And the first thing is there's trees on Mustafar, and I've got to say that this has actually happened in canon. This is happening in canon that Mustafar is like regrowing. It's got like some of its natural life back, and it's regrowing trees from something that happened in the Vader Immortal VR game.
Nice.
There was a VR game where you're in Vader's castle and like you play like a smuggler, and you're like a secret Jedi, and you like activate this thing. It's post like Rogue One. I think it's between Empire and Return of the Jedi, and you like activate this machine that sort of makes nature reborn on Mustafar. So instead of being lava, sort of like trees start growing and stuff like that. And there's like these dead forests and stuff. And that's what we see in Rise of Skywalker. Because at the start of Rise of Skywalker, there's like trees on Mustafar and such. So
that makes sense.
they crash on Mustafar and
Yep.
they find Castle Vader.
They do.
Fortress Vader that was built by Sith Lord Momin and Darth Vader in the comics. And there they find Grabala and Bash and Ram, who are his two sort of what the species called? The Itochi. There's a Jedi Master called Sasay Tin, who is a member of that species. But yeah, they're Itochi or something like that. And there is like henchmen, and Grabala isn't. It's fun to say. Okay, I watched the Freemaker Adventures. It's nice to see Grabala back. It's also nice to see these characters are like who haven't been like shuffled away, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the series, the Freemaker Adventures had 2 seasons,
Yep.
and had a shorter second season, and everything was sort of wrapped up. And I was like, oh right, okay, we're not going to get any of these guys back. But no, it's nice to see them back. It's nice to see Grabala come back. So, what was your having not? This was all new to you.
It was.
Did you just think these characters were invented for this, or?
I had, to be fair, I was knowing Star Wars and knowing other stuff we've kind of looked into. I was fully aware that every single character is a character. So I was fully aware that at some point these characters have either been in something or have been mentioned before or have appeared, and I've just not known who they are.
Yeah.
But no, it was a welcome addition. I liked them. I thought they were good. I thought they were fun. Already hitting it off with the horror tropes. You're building a hotel on an old abandoned
Yeah,
Sith.
it's like the shine again. It's very shiny in your burial ground.
Exactly. It's
building on this because there was a Sith shrine underneath Fortress Vader, and
yes.
Fortress Vader was built on that spot where Anakin Skywalker lost all his limbs in the Mustafar duel with Obi-Wan. So
yeah,
that's the spot it was built on. So yeah, it's nice, and it was also the design of Vader's castle is like also Vader's castle is a Lego set you can buy. So
do you any chance happen to have it?
I do actually have it. Yeah. It was an Amazon exclusive. I did have it for
One of these
a
days, I'm going
birthday
to
a
ask
few
you that
years ago.
question, and you're going to say no.
Well, hey, mate, actually, everything in here is pretty much a set. But it's rare that something is in this that isn't a set.
I was going to get onto this because
But okay, we'll talk about it now. Go on.
Yeah, right at the end, right?
Yeah.
The massive like bionicle thing that it turns into.
Oh,
if that's not if that's not a set, that's definitely been made to become a set because it's literally a bionicle. It's a Star Wars.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
If that isn't a thing, it's been put in this because it's only in it for like 2 minutes. Like 5 is gone. It gets defeated like straight.
His mech suit.
Yeah. It's only been made to be made into a toy because it's in it for like 5 minutes and it's gone.
Yeah. Well, no, an AT-AT turns out that's a set
yes.
that I have. There's an AT-ST in it. There's new sets as well. There's an Imperial light. Right. Okay. In the Wookiee's Paw section, which is like an alternate timeline of A New Hope.
Yes.
If Luke joined the Empire, and Leia was like a more active part of the rebellion,
and never found out Darth Vader was his dad.
And never found out Darth Vader was his dad. No, there's an Imperial light cruiser that shows up, and that is actually a set that came out this year, which is weird. Most of these sets were like they're up to date. I know most of these sets were like a couple of years ago. Like the AT-AT was like last year, and some of these stuff was done last year. But that light cruiser that came out this year, Moff Gideon's light cruiser. That Imperial light cruiser is actually a set from this year, which I thought was really strange. I was like, that is really new, that set. Like, we're only just getting it like now, basically, this month, in like the fall, let's call it. We're only just getting it now, so they're clearly up to date with the sets on this one. Or it was added in afterwards, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like the 3 stories, okay, you get 3 tales from Vinay, right? Vinay is the sort of creepy aide to Darth Vader caretaker who takes care of the castle. And he is like, oh, I will tell you 3 tales of the Sith. And he tells you the story of first the origins of Kylo Ren, which was based off, I think, the comics. And there was a story about that it wasn't actually Kylo Ren, it was the leader of the Knights of Ren. There's a guy called Ren who was the leader, and they weren't Sith or Jedi, they were just Force adepts. So they just knew, but they just could use the Force and know about the Force and such, but they don't have an alignment, basically.
Yeah, they can do what they want. They take what they want.
Yes, and they're raiders and such.
Yes.
And that set as well, the Knights of Ren ship, the Night Buzzard it's called. That's a set as well. The Ren minifigure was never made, but the Knights of Ren are pretty much all there. They're available in like Rise of Skywalker sets, like Kylo Ren's shuttle and such. So what did you think of that first story?
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I like Kylo Ren as a character. I think as far as the new trilogy goes, he's one of the only saving graces.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate the new trilogy, to be fair, but he's definitely more of a standout character. To be fair, I like it when things explore backstories but not canon, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I like it when you see other, like what Marvel's doing with What If, where you just see other things.
Oh,
I like that.
yeah. This is very much. This probably takes inspiration very much from What If. Or like because I always say that the Lego stuff isn't canon, but it also is. It's like in a grey. I call it in a grey area of canon.
Well, yeah, exactly.
The events may have happened. They may not have happened this way, but they did happen.
Yes. I thought it was good. I like the little section about he's it doesn't know why he's lifting rocks, and lo and behold, it comes handy.
He does. He kills Ren with a bunch of rocks.
Yep. What a way to go. That's one of the worst, most embarrassing ways probably someone had gone.
So that was Christian Slater voicing Ren. Did you know that?
I didn't. I did not.
Oh.
I don't really know the cast for this, to be honest. So.
Oh well, I've got the cast up here.
Yes, I thought you.
Some of the cast come back from the Clone Wars. We get in the Darth Maul and General Grievous section, we get Mother Talzin in the Night Sisters, leader of the Night Sisters, Mother Talzin. She's voiced by Barbara Goodson, who does her in the Clone Wars. We get Matt Sloan as Darth Vader.
By General Grievous, do you mean General Grievous because he's queasy?
Yes.
General Grievous because he's
General
coughing
Grievous,
for some reason.
Good joke. Yeah.
Thank you.
We have James Arnold Taylor comes back as Obi-Wan Kenobi, who does him in the Clone Wars. I think that Watto turns up in the Wookiee's paw, and I swear to you, I think that's the same guy.
It sounds,
He sounded dead on.
Yeah.
I'm just looking now. I wonder if it was the same. If it's the same guy that did Watto back in 1999. I'm gonna be. I don't think it is, but he sounded dead on. Like
it's either a really good sound alike, or it's
a good sound alike for Watto.
Or it's a Toy Story 4 Mr. Potato Head situation where it's old recordings that have been
possibly
cut together.
But it's good to see how Mother Talzin back in the Night Sisters and all that, and with Darth Maul. Again, it sort of recaps the events. I think that was the Clone Wars arc you recommended.
It was
a few months ago. That arc of Darth Maul coming back using the Night Sisters. So again, we have James Arnold Taylor did Obi-Wan Kenobi. And we have Matt Sloan who did Darth Vader. Matt Sloan's basically like the second guy who does Darth Vader if you don't get James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Matt Sloan does him in the video games like Battlefront and Force Unleashed and stuff like that. He's like the secondary voice for Darth Vader. So, and then of course Sam Witwer comes back for Darth Maul, who played him in Solo, played him in the Clone Wars, played him in Rebels, and then we get Matt Wood, who plays the battle droids and General Grievous. Yes. Who did him in the Clone Wars as well. So
it's a good cast. I like the Clone Wars cast. We spoke about this before.
Yeah.
The Clone Wars voice cast is amazing. So if they can just keep bringing them back.
Yeah, sure. Just keep bringing them back. And I love the fact they're all game for it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that to like almost give it like a level of legitimacy, right? Almost give it a level of legitimacy. They bring back all the cast voices, and I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. The fact they can get people back, it makes it feel like you're watching. You're not watching a bunch of sound-alikes reading off like a 2-penny script. You're actually listening to the characters as voiced by the actors that do it. So I think I think it really adds a nice bit of legitimacy, a bit of continuity as well. Hey,
exactly.
So, out of the three, though, I think the second has to be my favorite.
Which one was that again? Is that
it's the Darth Maul versus General Grievous story which is most of these things have bases in canon. I think like the one with Ren, the one with Kylo Ren was based off the comics where Kylo Ren is influenced, or Ben Solo is influenced by the Knights of Ren, and then eventually takes over leadership of the Knights of Ren. But it was It was the the Maul versus Grievous story that I thought was really interesting. Because yeah, the whole saber that makes you mad thing doesn't actually exist in canon, but it might be based off the fire saber.
Mm.
Because there was this thing in Legends that was called the fire saber, and it was like it wouldn't make you mad, but it was like an intensely powerful, an unstable lightsaber, basically.
Yeah.
Where it's like all crackly, like Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
I mean,
It's like all
that's a cool saber. I'd be happy if that came canon.
yeah. It's not called like the saber of Skardock or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
It's like it's a fire saber, and it's like an unstable lightsaber. I think it might have been based off that.
that makes sense.
And Grievous has fought more before in canon in the Son of Dathomir comics.
Yep.
It was going to actually be a Clone Wars series, but I think Clone Wars season 7 was scrapped initially when Disney bought Lucasfilm, and like the Clone Wars was cancelled, but then they brought it back on Disney Plus, But they could only have a limited amount of arcs, so several arcs got removed. The Son of Dathomir arc was another one with Darth Maul basically taking control of sort of the Mandalorians and using them to sort of get revenge on Count Dooku and General Grievous. General Grievous was sent by sort of Lord Sidious to sort of free Dooku, and Grievous fought Maul in that. So
did he end up with all of his limbs cut off?
No, he didn't end up with all of his limbs cut off. I was annoyed that Grievous lost that fight.
Really?
I mean, General Grievous is always getting a bad hand in Star Wars canon, and in Legends he's an absolute murderer. But in canon, he's such a puss.
To be fair, I remember like Clone Wars Grievous and also the animated Clone Wars that we watched, where like he kills Shar-Gi.
The 2003 Clone Wars Grievous is a monster.
Yeah.
But this canon Grievous is just, I think he's so cool as well. What annoys me is canon Grievous looks amazing. He's got by far the best look of them.
Yes.
And Matt Wood's voice is great. He's got everything to be this, but in canon they just never let him shine. I think in the Clone Wars he's always losing battles all the time. He's always running away. I'm like, oh, come on, Grievous.
I need a decent. Like, he's a guy who becomes Grievous and then has 4 lightsabers, and you would think it'd be a bit more dominant. He's
got such a fierce reputation. That's the only thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, General Grievous, he kills all these Jedi. Oh no!" But all he's doing in this series is running away and losing fights.
Yes, and
that's not a feared warrior.
He also has like my favorite ship. In one of my old videos, I mentioned this. His ship was my number 1.
Oh, the Soulless one.
Yeah.
Is Starfighter.
Yes, and
hold on. Let me find the name for that. I can find it. The class name for it, because it is this is Star Wars here. The Soulless one is a oh, here we go. Do you want a name? This is the bloody name, Corey. You ready for this?
Okay, hit me.
The Soulless one is a customized Phaeton Otra Scalable Assemblies Belobub 22 class starfighter.
Nice.
And was the personal ship of General Grievous, the leader of the Confederacy of Independent Systems droid army. Oh, this is a funny bit of trivia. However, because Grievous generally used his fighter to retreat, some opponents nicknamed the ship the Spineless One.
Nice.
So yeah, it is. The Soulless One is a Phaeton Otros Scalable Assemblies customized Beelzebub 22 heavy starfighter.
Yeah, I mean he lost to Maul because he's General Grievous is ill. He's coughing all the time. He can't talk properly.
Look, this is the first time that they've said General Grievous's actual name in canon.
Yeah.
Because in they never say it in Legends either. But in canon, this is the first, well, not in canon, in any media, right? This is the first time General Grievous's actual name has been said. And it's Kwaimen Jai Shilal, which he's a Kaleesh warrior. He was a Kaleesh, and he was basically the Kaleesh were at war with the Hutt, and then General Grievous was like this very feared warrior, and his nickname was Grievous because he was this very deadly combatant. He killed all these Hutt warriors, and he had like a wife and everything. And his wife died, and then the Hutt basically called the Republic for help, and that's why Grievous hates the Jedi, because the Kaleesh were basically treated as a terrorist force, because the Hutt were democratic, and then the Jedi came in and like wiped out all the Kaleesh at the point when it was just Grievous who had survived. and then he was escaping, and Count Dooku arranged for him to be blown up in this shuttle crash, so they could refit him as a cyborg, and eventually make him into a tool for the Separatist war machine. So that was his origins in Legends. They've hinted at that in canon, but they've never outright said it. Like we know he's a Kaleesh. We think we know. I think that's his name in canon as well. His actual name, and they've said that like he took on cybernetics to like compete with the Jedi or something like that, or because he didn't have Force powers. I don't know. It wasn't like we don't know a minute what happened. So we know that the Kaleesh were in a war against the Hutt, and we know that he gained some vendetta against the Republic, maybe by the use of the Jedi. We're not sure. So it's much more clearer in Legends his origins than it is in canon. But that's the case for a lot of things, I think.
Yeah,
I hope for one day we'll get a novel about Grievous. That would be nice, because that's the best I can hope for. Because you get a lot of them in Star Wars. Like I know Tarkin has a novel, and most of these sort of secondary villain characters do get like sort of defining comics or novels, like Kylo Ren and stuff like that. And Darth Maul has a comic as well. So I can hope for a Grievous book or a Grievous comic down the line that explains his origins a bit better. So I really like him. I do. I really like Grievous, and I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. So.
I mean, that makes sense.
And the back and forth banter between Grievous and Maul was very fun. I was seeing shades of Son of Dathomir in it. I was like, they're not just trading jokes at each other. These are like, so they're legitimately threatening each other, and I appreciate that. You know, Grievous is like, oh, we can't split the sword in half like you got split in half, ha ha. And I was like, you know what? That's all right. That's a good line.
I mean, yeah, it's out of the three, it's definitely my favorite. I think my least favorite is probably the Wookiee's paw, maybe.
Really? I could see that. I could see why.
Yeah.
I could see why.
I like the aspect of the change in the sides and that sort of stuff, but also I kind of just like seeing Kylo Ren's thing and just
The
seeing him
alternate
do his thing.
timeline. Well,
Yeah.
there's a couple of things to this actually, because there's a couple of things to this because there was a comic series called Star Wars Infinities that ran for a few years, and it was basically Star Wars What If, right?
Yeah.
It was like, what if the Death Star actually destroyed Yavin 4 and the Empire won? What if like there was a weird one that's like, what if Han Solo stayed blind or something? Like Han Solo got carbonite sickness and he was released, he couldn't see, right?
Okay.
So what if like Han Solo stayed blind? There was like a weird. They do weird ones, but there was also like sort of big ones, like what if Anakin wasn't the chosen one? What if it was someone else? That kind of thing. Like what if Obi-Wan was the chosen one or something? Stories like that,
Makes sense.
But it was basically Star Wars What If, and I feel like that was the closest we're ever going to get to seeing a Star Wars What If.
Yeah.
That the Wookiee's Paw, which was I think it was a good story about Luke sort of joining the Empire and Leia being a part of the rebellion, and even down to playing the same music when they're running through the hallways of the Death Star and they get to the chasm and Darth Vader's on Luke's back like Yoda, and he kisses him and he goes, "Oh, for luck," and they swing across the chasm and the music's playing. It was I had a good time with it, and I saw pretty much everything first time, which is good for me. Yeah, and then he goes from like a pilot, because the power of the Wookiee's paw is to give you whatever you want when you say it, right? He says,
Yes.
"Oh, I want to join the Empire. Oh, I want to get off Tatooine," he says. And then the guy comes up to him and says, do you want to join the Empire?" It reminded me of that, of the Darth Vader meme. Have you seen it? Where he's like, "Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill."
I have
you
not
seen
seen
that?
that. I have not seen that. I don't frequent the internet enough to see that.
There's a Star Wars animated series called Star Wars. It's called Detour. I think it's called Star Wars Detour, and it's basically an animated series. It's like Robot Chicken, right?
Yeah.
And they play this Imperial recruitment video where it's Darth Vader basically rapping and like doing cool sick moves, and he says, "Yo, dude, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could like join it or something." And I felt like that was sort of the tone they were going for.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, he becomes a stormtrooper, and there's like, oh, I want to be a pilot.
Yep.
And then Grand Moff Tarkin walks up and goes, hey, you can be a pilot. And then he gets to to be a pilot, and he flies around on a TIE fighter, and then they go, who is the best pilot? You must help me. The rebels are attacking the Death Star, and it's Obi-Wan and Leia.
Yeah.
So, but then it all happened like somehow Obi-Wan must have got the Millennium Falcon to go and rescue Leia from the Death Star, and they're both flying X-wings in the Battle of Yavin. So it's I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that little one, and then Luke accidentally destroys the Death Star.
Yep.
By misfiring his proton torpedoes and shooting them into the exhaust port, which blows up the Death Star. And then Darth Vader's like, "You're going to be the most famous pilot for destroying the Death Star." And like that's how he was anyway, but it was done in this way with Luke being on the dark side. So
yes.
And then the whole sort of episode ends with, I like that we have the 3 stories, but we also have our own plot that's done without.
Yeah.
It's done throughout. Like Vinay activates all the battle droids that they've been using to build this hotel, and then all the battle droids attack, and we get the fun scene of Grabala and Poe and BB-8 and the kid who's called Dean.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Dean, all running from the battle droid army who are attacking the castle. So and then it leads into a big fight between Vinay like gets like a mech suit.
Yeah.
A big Lego mech suit, and tries to fight Poe to get into the AT-ST Walker, and then this droid that's been helping Vinay, which looks like one of the Death Star droids, gets in an AT-AT, and they have a fight, and it pushes the AT-AT over into the lava river, and then Vinay falls in there as well.
Well, he jumps in.
Yeah, he jumps in after. Well, he has a Sith holocron, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And the Sith holocron powers the mech suit.
Yes. And then it gets taken off of him literally straight away.
Yes, yeah. But I like that I like we were seeing sort of Sith artifacts that have relevance.
Yeah.
Like there's the saber, which I don't think exists in canon or anywhere. I think that's an original creation. Sith holocrons do exist. We see them in Rebels and other media. There's some in the comics as well. The Wookiee's paw doesn't exist. I think that's something that was made up as well. But I think that's a reference to like I think it's a reference to another story about that sort of careful what you wish for kind of message.
Yeah.
And then we have the story about Kylo Ren, the Lost Boy, which is based off the Lost Boys, the film.
Yeah.
Where I think that might have actually had Christian Slater in it. So I think that may have been a reference to. Yeah.
I mean, I've not seen it, so I can't comment.
Oh, okay. So I think that might be a reference to that, but it was good to see those things. It was good to see the things like Luke's Jedi Academy, which we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
And more work with Ren, more work with Luke and the Empire, and the more on General Grievous's relationship with Sidious, which we didn't really have much of in canon. And Darth Maul's all those legs that Darth Maul had. I feel like they were like he always had like a BB-8 bottom, didn't he? At one point,
yeah, the BB-8 bottom.
He had the first legs he tries on, those robotic like chicken legs, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones he has in Legends.
Yeah.
And he has them in the start at the Clone Wars. He doesn't have them for long, but he has them in the start at the Clone Wars when Darth Maul does return.
Yeah.
And then the legs he has the spider legs. Yes, he does have in canon as well. In Clone Wars, when we first meet Darth Maul on the junk planet on Lotho Minor, I think it's called.
Yeah.
His brother Savage Opress is looking for him and finds him on this junk planet, and like the top half of him is welded to this spider, this sort of spider thing that's being held together by the Force and like by pieces of chunks of metal and stuff that's flying around, and it's really cool. It's a really cool visual. That entire episode, you recommended the arc.
I did.
That entire episode is just amazing. Sam Witwer does so well, but yeah, both of the legs that he uses, I think are in canon. Well, I know they're in canon. So
yeah, I mean, it was. I liked it.
I'll let you talk now. For a bit.
I mean, I think we've essentially covered most of the basis. I mean, it's as far as a special goes. Um, like we said, we reviewed the Christmas special. And you asked me a couple of days ago, behind the curtain, open the curtain a bit behind the scenes. You asked
Yeah.
me yesterday, did I prefer the Christmas special? And
Hmm.
I think I did, not by much. And we'll get to that when we get to the ratings, because I've got the original Christmas special ratings from both of us.
Yeah.
And this is getting lower than my Christmas special one.
Okay. Okay.
But not by much. Um,
Hmm.
but it's still overall, it's in a similar vein. I mean, which one do you prefer, Christmas or Halloween? Which one is your favorite? I mean,
I
not to
feel
fair. We'll find out rating wise, because I've got a
we
feeling you'll
will.
say one's your favorite, when you end up rating the other one higher.
Yeah. I feel like I like this more
Yeah,
because it brings in more stuff from the Clone Wars. It
yeah,
brings
true.
in more stuff from sort of general Star Wars and things we haven't seen yet. Darth Maul,
Yeah,
General Grievous. We don't have those type of characters in the Christmas special.
true.
Um, Again, it brings us sort of all these new minifigures. We've never had a Lego Mother Talzin or Lego Night Sisters that exist. We've never had a Grabala the Hutt figure or anything like that. So I'd like some of these things to actually come to being. Um, or like those
True.
zombie battle droids that I thought was a great concept. I think that was also in Clone Wars as well. There was a
Yeah,
Clone Wars episode where on Saleucami, I think we talked about this in our Bad Batch episode, where Cutler Quain and his family are like have take Captain Rex in, and Captain Rex is wounded on Saleucami in the battle, and he's taken in by this deserter clone Cutler Quain, and one of the escape pods from the Separatist fleet lands in like Cutler Quain's farm, and it's like these zombie battle droids. They're like running low on power, but they're like this will to murder, and they're just crashing through doors and stuff and shooting wildly, and it's like a zombie film, and it was really good, and it was like this as well. The best joke I thought the best joke in this entire thing was the Shining reference where this one battle droid has an axe. I don't know where he
yes.
found it. He has an axe and he's crashing through this bathroom door to come and get Grabala the Hutt, and he bashes through the door and he sticks his head through. And then he goes, "Here's B1149596." And
You're close. You're close with the
I,
numbers.
I was guessing. I don't know them.
It's B149. So B14961138815, and then he gets dragged away before he can finish his name.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
He gets
gets like
Poe
punched to
destroys him.
death or something. Because all you hear is like
But
ting, ting, ting
oh,
constantly.
maybe he gets smashed by something. I don't know.
I'm just imagining someone like proper like sat on top whacking him.
Whacking his head. Yeah.
Yeah,
Still, I like that. And I feel like we need more. We need more battle droid content. I don't know what happened to those guys.
true.
We need.
Yeah,
I enjoy a bit of battle droids. We like the battle droids. So and again, it shows that sort of era of Star Wars where the battle droids are still around, even though they're probably
yeah.
more than 30 years old at this point. Unless Grabala the Hutt found some kind of factory that was making them and was never used or something like that. And
All that, yeah.
I don't know. There's all these things are quite old now. I should think like AT-ATs and AT-STs, Imperial AT-ATs and AT-STs weren't used for more than I don't know what 40 years at this point because they were around when the Death Star was constructed, and that was in 0 BBY before the Battle of Yavin. So then there's a timeline here. There's actually a timeline here. If you go to Wikipedia
Nice.
and you look at this special on Wikipedia, there's a timeline, and it says that the actual events happen after 35 ABY at the castle. Then the prelude is 12 BBY. The first flashback is 28 ABY, which is after the Battle of Yavin. The Battle of Yavin is like the point where the timeline starts from.
Yeah.
20 BBY, that's 20 years before the Battle of Yavin, is the second flashback. And then, that must have been the year the Death Star began construction. That's interesting. Because it took 20 years to build the Death Star. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
In canon, it took 20 years to build the first Death Star. Do you
Nice.
know how many years it took to build the second?
5.
2.
Ah, I knew it was less.
It was much less. It was much less.
I knew it was less.
Actually, I think it might be 5. I think it's 2. Hold on. We're gonna do this in the 4 ABY. Oh no, it was 2. It was built in 2 years. I was right.
Okay.
Because it was destroyed in 4 ABY.
Yeah.
So that way it took them 2. Unless they were building them at the same time, and I don't believe that. Because the second Death Star is much larger than the first one.
Yeah.
But they built it in 2 years. And it was. Oh, they built it in 4 years. Maybe they built it in 4 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but 4 years and 20 years are that's a massive gap.
I love the fact that you're just trying to figure this one out.
I'm trying to rationalize it.
Exactly.
That's a massive gap between construction, and it was maybe they were building them at the same time, or like Palpatine got halfway through the construction of the first Death Star and thought, hold on, we could do with the second one of these. Start building it now, and it took like what 18 years instead or something.
Yeah.
But that's a massive disappointment. How do you build something that large in 4 years? I know it wasn't finished. The second Death Star wasn't finished. There was still bits hanging off the side if you look at it, and it's got bits hanging off the top, and the super laser wasn't ready or whatever it couldn't fire at full capacity like the first one could. But yeah, still that's a massive gap in construction. I mean, but it's ridiculous. Anyway, something I don't know. That's just gaps in Star Wars logic that I managed to find. But right, let's go. Let's rate this. Let's rate this special. Shall we?
Okay, that sounds good.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I put some thought into this. I was thinking. Well, I enjoyed it very much. Characters were good. Story was fun. It was nice seeing Lego sets I actually have. That was good as well. Seeing, hey, I've got that set. You know. I don't have the light cruiser. I quite like it. Maybe by this time next week I will have it.
Nice.
But and I think I'm gonna give this a 8.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it an 8. It would have gone a 9, but I'm not too sure about what the ramifications of giving it a 9 would be. So I'm gonna give it an 8 instead. Actually, I'll give it an 8.5. I'll boost it up a bit.
Okay.
I'll give it an 8.5.
Okay, that's fair. That seems fair. I'm giving it a 7.
Right.
It was good. It was enjoyable. I liked it. I think I just preferred the Christmas one a little bit more. I enjoyed the references. I think also it's kind of hampered by the fact that I don't know Star Wars lore and I haven't seen Lost Boys, so the only references I got was The Shining.
Right. Okay.
And the possible Lord of the Rings reference at the end.
Lord of the Rings reference. Oh, with the Gollum in the lava river. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Other than that, I didn't get any references and any of your lore. I don't know who the characters were, so I think the Christmas specials, that's kind of why I prefer it, because I knew more about it.
Yeah.
And so we gave the Lego Christmas special, I gave it a 7.5, which is higher, 0.5 higher than the Halloween special. You gave the Lego Christmas special a 7, so you've got a 1.5 higher.
Oh dear. Right, looking back to it, maybe I would have given the Lego Christmas special more.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the stench of the.
I gave it more than you did.
Yeah. Maybe it was the stench of the first holiday special that was still lingering in the air at this point.
I mean, yeah, I did also give the first holiday special higher than you. I gave it a 2. You gave it a 0.5. It's lucky you didn't give it a 0.
Then we have to review it again.
That wasn't a rule back then, but we would have had to go back and gone, oh, damn it.
0.5, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's our lowest rating.
You give it a 2? I thought you would have been worse than that.
No, I gave it a 2. Oh. I can't remember why, but
probably because you didn't know the consequences. You weren't sitting there looking at all this stuff and going, "This is the destruction of this is the destruction of all and the New Hope has worked to build." And
I think there was like potentially 2 parts that I might have found somewhat funny, so I thought I'll give it a 2 for that.
We're not going to talk about the Holiday Special, Corey. We've done enough. Maybe Christmas time, when December runs around, maybe we'll have a return to it.
Yeah, true.
Put ourselves through more. We're not going to watch it all the way through though. That was too much torture.
It was. But what's not torture, Murray, is a recommendation.
Yeah, a weekly rec. Great segue, Corey. 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Wonderful segue. That was chef's kiss. Right. So the weekly rec for this week, it's got to be Lego Star Wars. Come on, it's got to be one of the definitive pieces of Lego Star Wars media. It is.
Nice.
It's a video game. It's Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
Nice.
Did you know this was coming?
Yeah, I pretty much.
Yeah. This is the only video game. Count it. The only video game that I've 100%ed.
Funny
in
enough,
my entire life.
You mentioned that on the Christmas special episode.
I did. The Complete Saga is the only game that I have 100%ed, and I'm still proud of that to this day.
Nice.
I'm still proud of that. No other game I'm 100% apart from this one, because I spent 900 hours on it.
Yeah.
Just playing all the free levels as every single character or whatever.
Yeah. I did that with Lego Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's the Lego Complete Saga is great. It's the mix of the first two games, updated graphics, more characters. It's amazing. I really like the Complete Saga. There's nothing more I can say apart from singing its absolute praises and saying, if you haven't played Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Go out there and play it. You know, it's literally, you can buy it for like less than a penny probably now.
You can.
It's
you can
old
buy
as
it for that.
dirt, so you can probably get it for less than £5 at most.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
100%.
I still have a copy on the Nintendo Wii. That's
I've
the copy
got
that I 100%ed.
I've got it on the PS4.
Nice.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You can
for
get
all
the
you
PlayStation
PlayStation.
for the PS4.
Yeah, for all you PlayStation listeners, if you get PS Now, this isn't sponsored. If you get PS Now, which is like a monthly subscription where you can play games by streaming them, kind of like what Stadia tried to do, but better. A lot of the games on there are like PlayStation 3 games and like PlayStation 2 games. You can get, essentially you pay like £4 or £5 a month, and the Complete Saga is on there. So, and it's on there forever, so you can just play it for free.
Again, not a sponsor.
So that's why I've got it, because it happens to be on there.
Again, not a sponsor.
No, it's not. But
you just gave a very accurate endorsement of that, though.
It's a good. I like the service. It's a good service. You get new free games every month.
Yeah,
technically
if
free.
you want to sponsor us, PSN.
Yeah, come on, Sony.
If you want to sponsor us, PS4 Network, just give us a ring. We'll happily.
Yeah, come on, Sony. Come on.
Yeah, come on, Sony.
Give us some exclusive Spider-Man interviews.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, go for it. But yeah, that is my weekly rec.
Nice.
I've got to rate it.
You have.
I would give it 10, but that means we'd have to review it.
Have to do an episode of a Complete Saga.
So we're not. I'll give it a 9.
I don't even know how an episode on a video game would work.
I don't know. Should we try and do that at some point?
Well, okay. Well, as you know,
we both have to play it.
Yeah, scratch that. Technically, Nightbook is.
Yeah,
technical standpoint.
But if you want to be pretentious, and let's be fair, there are a couple of very pretentious episodes. If you want to be pretentious, you're going to say it's not a film, it's not a video game, it's like an interactive visual media experience.
Like we'll be getting onto
big air quotes.
Exactly, like we'll be getting onto next week.
Yes, that is a very interactive visual media experience.
Exactly. But I guess we'd have to play it. You'd 100% it again.
Yeah.
Then we're just reviewing the Star Wars films, because that's all it is. It's the first.
Yeah, but we talk about the game mechanics, won't we? And the
yes, and
the fact that no one says a word.
Yes,
it's all done in grunts and
find stormtroopers in a hot tub.
You could, beach troopers in their bikinis and their helmets.
Yeah.
and their board shorts. They're nothing tasteful.
And you can get the Rancor, and it's awful because it's tiny.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, the little Rancor you can play as in the mini kit section. Yeah,
I hate when Star Wars things do that. Like, it's this massive creature you have to beat, and you unlock it, and it's just tiny.
It's tiny Rancor. Yeah, I remember that. It's like smart. Have you ever played Lego Lord of the Rings? The Lego Hobbit game, right?
Yeah.
And you can play as Smaug, and he's little Smaug.
Yeah.
He's not a massive dragon.
Yeah, they do it with the Balrog. You can play as a Balrog, and he's tiny.
He's like little Barrett. You can play as Sauron as well, but he's like a minifigure scale Sauron. He's not
Yeah,
even big, massive mech Sauron that you fight
yeah.
in the prologue
It happens with every Lego game.
all the time.
It's
Oh, I can't believe one day it's like those Lego Marvel games actually do it all right. It's like you can play as like Fing Fang Foom and stuff, and like Mega Venom, and they're actually the size.
yeah, except for the first, I think it's the first Lego Avengers game. You remember the first 4 film? Is it Destroyer?
Oh
Is that
yeah,
what that like robot mech
yeah, the
thing's called?
Destroyer, the big mech suit. Yeah,
Yeah, you get that, and it's a small minifigure.
I know that as well.
I'm glad, but I remember the name Destroyer. I've not seen that film in years. I've not seen 4-1 in
Well, the
years.
first Thor.
Yeah, it's been ages. It's been ages. But yeah, I mean that's a talk about the Lego games.
That is, and this is that. This has been our review of the Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales,
Yes.
and it's a goodbye from me, goodbye, and a goodbye from Corey.
Goodbye.